The manga opens up with our protagonist, Kuraishi Itsuki, who despite his fierce eyes is a pretty chill guy. His looks always landed him in tricky situations, so he tries to remain discreet and acts like the mysterious anime protagonist. Or, as I like to call it, socially awkward. He goes to his school as usual and notices the seat next to him is empty. This seat belongs to a girl named Komukai-san, a scary, delinquent girl who always sits alone and is bad news because she got that look in her eyes that says, "I can kick your ass."
I love the kind of woman that can kick my ass.
While coming to school today, our boy saw her taking a different route for school and he can't help but be curious about it. The next day, Kuraishi sees Komukai-san once again taking a different route to school. Now I need to know what kind of school makes you wear those kinds of skirts. Because one gush of wind, and she is flashing the entire class as if it's a flashbang. But I wouldn't be complaining if I was part of that class, though. Kuraishi starts wondering why she is taking a different path to school, because clearly, she'll be late for class. But curiosity gets the better of him, so he starts chasing her. He hides behind walls and other objects to maintain his cover like a perfectly normal, uncreepy guy. It's a pretty long walk, and she finally arrives. At a river named Kandagawa, our boy exclaims it's been a while since he has been here. He sees Komukai-san standing on top of stairs, breathing some much-needed fresh air. Kuraishi realizes he'll be late for school. Soha checks the time and thinks he should go back to school. But as he looks back up, Komukai-san already disappeared. He thinks it'll be a waste of time if he didn't saw why Komukai-san came here. So he goes to the spot where she was standing and sees her stretching. She then lies down and her vertical lips breathe some air and says, "That feels good." He accidentally calls her name, and she turns around to see who it is. Upon seeing our boy, she starts panicking and wonders what is he doing here. Kuraishi thinks he should get out of here, but he slips and unintentionally ends up showing his gymnastic skills and starts doing front flips. Unfortunately, he didn't stick his landing and fell into the river. Komukai-san thought it was funny and started laughing at him. Komukai-san explains to him that she is skipping class. Our boy checks the time and thinks it's bad because if they got late, the school will contact his parents. But she tells him to take a chill pill and indirectly calls him a beta male for getting scared of skipping class. Kuraishi asks if her parents aren't going to scold her, but she don't care about that and wants to relax. Komukai then lies down and tells him to forget about all that. She then looks at him and says, "Why don't you try it too, since you are skipping class as well?" He took her advice and lied down beside her using his bag as a pillow. While doing so, he realized it's pretty nice. He then thinks how everyone in class is studying right now, and he is here, right next to Komukai-san's skipping school. She then gets up, looks at him, and asks if he is still not feeling satisfied. She knows our boy is still thinking about class and school, because she had experienced the exact same thing as well. She then puts her hands around his neck and pins Kuraishi on the ground, saying, "The feeling of guilt you get after skipping class is amazing. Don't you feel special?" Kuraishi got confused and thinks what's so special about it. He then looks at her jiggly puffs and immediately eats his words. Komukai-san then looks at our boy and tells him that only the two of them know about this secret. And by secret, she meant skipping class, relaxing on the ground and him seeing the color of her Victoria's Secrets. Suddenly, Komukai-san's phone alarm starts ringing and our boy starts panicking. But then he remembers he is a mysterious anime protagonist and don't got friends like that who'll call him. She looks at our boy's scared face and tried her best to contain her laugh. But in the end, she couldn't and ended up exploding in laughter, just like my pants exploded when she was pinning Kuraishi to the ground. Komukai looks at him and says, "You are a funny guy." But our boy is sitting there like, what's so funny about it? After that, they both went to school and she already fell asleep on her desk. Kuraishi sees a letter on his desk, so he picks it and opens it up, only to see the words, "Let's skip class again." He looks at her and thinks she is crazy. But Komukai-san was smiling at him, and since that day, our boy's high school life has been filled with nothing but anxiety. The following day, Kuraishi attends his classes as usual, but Komukai-san has missed 2 classes. He thinks it's great, since now he'll be able to study peacefully. But when he looks out the class window, he sees Komukai-san standing at the school rooftop. She signals him to come here, and since he is a good boy, Kuraishi follows her order. He arrives at the rooftop, and there's no one in his line of sight. He looks up, only to find Komukai-san with juice straw in between her lips. And those were not the only lips that our boy was seeing. He tells her to go to the class, but she just looks at the sky and says, "A cat." Kuraishi thinks she is a strange girl and wonders if she forgot to take her medicines today. But then he looks at the sky as well and realizes she was talking about the cloud shapes. She continues to point out different clouds that look like different things. Then with a mommy look in her eyes, she looks at our boy and asks him, what does he do when he is free? He is hesitant at first, but then he reveals that he plays online video games and reads manga on his phone. She then asks, What kind of games? As Kuraishi looks back to answer her question, his eyes wander somewhere else, and he once again ends up seeing her Victoria's Secrets. So with flushed cheeks, he turns around and tells her that he likes multiplayer online video games. But Komukai-san isn't buying it. She says, "I know what kind of manga you like." Kuraishi looks at her and wonders, how does she know about his cultural secret? She then jumps down from the roof and once again giving him a look at her vertical lips. Komukai looks at our boy and starts walking towards him, all the while revealing that he reads the type of action manga where the only thing he beats is his little Johnny. He can't believe that Komukai-san was able to read him like an open book. She then tells him that it's obvious from the way you look at me and points her finger towards him, calling him a pervert. Suddenly his knees get weak and he falls to the ground. Komukai then demands that he give it to her, and he thinks she is asking about a compensation, but he can't give her anything since he is a brokey, but she was asking for his phone so she can give him her contact info. He asks if it's all right for him to have her phone number. She says he can delete it if he doesn't like it. Kuraishi tells her that it's his first time having a contact number outside of his family members, but she explains that he can do whatever he wants with it. It's up to him. Suddenly, a guy opens the roof doors and says, "This place is prohibited," but there's no one there. It's because Kuraishi and Komukai-san are right above him. She puts a finger on her lips, the horizontal ones, and tells our boy to be quiet until he leaves. Saying this, she faceplants him into her soft airbags. The blonde guy continues calling them out and decides to look up. But no one's there since Kuraishi was lying on top of Komukai-san and his face was in between them jiggly puffs. Call him Max Holloway since he keeps getting blessed. Now YouTube Chan won't let me show you these cultured panels, so you have to read the manga for yourself. Finally, the guy accepts he is schizophrenic and walks off. Kuraishi quickly gets up and starts apologizing to her. With a smirk on her face, she tells him not to get off with that face, since that will make her sad. Personally, I would have folded right here like an omelet. She then tells him to close his eyes. Our boy thinks it's his lucky day, and he is going to share his first kiss with none other than Komukai-san. But instead of first kiss, he receives his first flick on the forehead instead. It was so hard that he almost fell backwards. Komukai-san then thanks him since him being with her makes her day a lot more enjoyable. Today is a holiday. There's no school and it's a peaceful, quiet afternoon. Kuraishi is out, running some errands that his mother assigned him. He got thirsty after walking for a while, so he grabbed a refreshing beverage for himself from the nearby vending machine. He entered the nearby park and saw something unexpected. Komukai-san was sitting on one of the benches, chilling by herself. He sits beside her and explains that he was running some errands that her mom assigned him, and asks, "What is she doing here?" But she says, "That's classified information, buddy." Komukai-san then looks at our boy and tells him she doesn't mind sharing that classified information with him, but does he have the commitment to listen until the end? Kuraishi got nervous after hearing this and decided to drink the beverage he bought earlier. But as soon as he drank from the bottle, he knew something wasn't right.
Ugh, tastes like ass.
Komukai saw the disgusted look on his face and got curious about the drink. She got up and decided to buy it as well. He stops her from buying it since the drink tastes terrible. But she looks at him and says, "That's exactly why I'm buying it." Our boy thinks she has a few screws loose in her head and wonders why she wants to try a bad drink. He offers her to try his, so she wouldn't have to waste her money on it. Komukai-san grabs his drink and tells him she is going to drink a mouthful from the bottle and asks if he is okay with it. Kuraishi says he is okay, so she removes the bottle cap and drinks the beverage. Now as she is drinking it, she suddenly starts making out with the bottle, and now I'm jealous of this beverage bottle.
It's pretty difficult to put into words how disgusted I am, how depressed I am.
After finishing her makeout session, she lets him know that this drink tastes perfectly normal. She then hands him the bottle and says, "Thank you." Kuraishi opens up the beverage and realizes it's not too late to start sucking on the bottle. Komukai-san then asks if he is not going to drink it. He was struggling to speak, so she got closer to him and tells him that if he drinks from this bottle, it will be considered an indirect kiss. Our boy starts blushing so hard that steam starts coming out of his head. Komukai-san saw this and started laughing. Now I'm wondering if our boy Kuraishi has that unspoken riz, since he is making Komukai-san laugh to the point where her stomach hurts. She then thanks him for making his day and walks off. Now that our boy is all alone, he checks his surroundings and twists open the cap, so he can suck on it like a glizzy gobbler. But suddenly Komukai-san appears behind him and catches him lacking in 4K Ultra HD. Our boy starts sweating, so she hands him another beverage. She then tells him that I don't feel good always receiving. Komukai-san then grabs his shoulder blades and pushes her soft milk packs on his back, saying, "Let's slack off sometimes again." She then says goodbye and leaves the park, for real this time.